All right, Rob, let's get right into this. Last night, viewed as a big game, right? Touted as, the Lakers and the Suns.
It's a measuring stick. It's a measuring stick. And guess what? Somebody came up with 3 inches. I want you to know.
Oh, here we go. Lillian!
You're fired.
Hey, it was a rematch of the first round matchup last year, Rob. And hey, some people could say Rob G probably been telling himself if AD didn't get hurt, it would have been a different story altogether. Lakers would have beaten the Suns. Well, last night they went at it. They got it on because they don't get along. And the Suns, Rob, we talked about it, stunningly, in the Staples Center, 7-point favorites. And that wasn't enough because they blasted the Lakers. Absolutely destroyed the Los Angeles Lakers. Tore them apart in the third quarter. It was close for a half, and that was about it. The final score, 118-90. LeBron did his thing with 34 points, but other than that, it wasn't much for the Lakers to cheer about. So after the game, LeBron was asked about assessing the Lakers. They're 32 games in. They're 16-16. They're the 7th seed in the West. And here's what he said.
You don't know. We have no idea what this team can be of. And when you have, Trev, who was just his second game back, no K-Nunn. I missed a bunch of games. Now AD's out, a bunch of guys in protocol, our head coach is out. So how can we really fully assess what we have, when we haven't been whole? I can't remember the last time, we played the same starting lineup and had the same rotation coming off the bench. It's been a long time. So it's hard to assess that.
All right, Rob, your thoughts?
Poppycock, Boulder Dash, nonsense. LeBron, stop it. Laker fans, stop it. Stop making excuses. Nobody's saying that you're fully whole or you should be leading the Western Conference with the win total. We get that. But shooting 1 for 18 in the second half from 3, Chris, has nothing to do with that. Those are NBA players.
But he wasn't asked that.
No, I'm talking
about last night.
No, but I'm talking about trying to say that they can't tell what kind of team they have. Yes, this is the team that we thought. Older guys, injuries, too top heavy, a lot of guys who you can't count on night in, night out. Do you really need to be whole to lose to OKC twice in 2 weeks when they've won 6 games all year, twice against you? You got Westbrook, you got LeBron, you have AD. Any combination of those 2 guys should have them winning more games than they have, Chris. And I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to give them an excuse that they can't assess this team and they have no idea. No, you are who we thought you were. We first guessed this, that Russ wouldn't fit, that the team was too top heavy, that there was a chance we're going to have injuries. AD hasn't been able to stay healthy his whole career except for the year in the bubble. LeBron's been hurt 3 of the last 4 years in LA. Carmelo's old. One day he hits 9 threes. The next game he goes 0 for 9 from 3. That's what happens when you're older. You can't do the same thing night in and night out. That's why he's not starting. If he could make 9 threes, he'd be in the starting lineup. So this whole notion that this is the reason they've been awful, I'm not buying it. And the turnovers and the missed threes, the only reason, think about this. The Suns shot 3 for 22 in the first half, Chris. 3 for 22. Yep. And led at the half by 2 points. How in the hell did they lead when they shot 3 for 22 from 3? They led 54 to 52. So I don't want to hear it.
Well, look, you know, we both first guessed that this was, as soon as we heard the rumors that Russell Westbrook was coming to the Lakers or might be coming to the Lakers, we both, and we were, I mean, come on. Like I said, I've talked to a few people in the league that thought it might work, but the overwhelming majority of basketball observers, insiders, whatever you want to call them, were like, what? Like that, it's not a fit. You don't just go get talent without any regard for how it's going to fit. So we're in sync there, Rob. You and I. That Russ wasn't a good fit.
But it was a first.
But
guess,
here's
right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it wasn't even a guess. It's just obvious he's not a fit. But what LeBron James said, Rob, in that quote that we just played, was right on the money. It was accurate. I mean, there's a difference between an excuse and an explanation. You know, if I got a broken leg and I'm laying up in my bed with a broken leg and a fever to boot, and my wife comes home from work and is like, "Did you cook me dinner?" I'm like, "No, I'm bedridden. I got a broken leg and I got a fever. Plus, I'm a man and I don't cook." No, I'm just playing.
What? Lillian.
But no, I got a broken leg and I got a fever. No, I didn't cook. Now, is that an excuse or is that an explanation? It's an explanation. And LeBron is right. This season has been so disjointed. He's missed a third of the season. AD is now out. Some of their players haven't played virtually at all. So all that's true. But here's the problem, Rob. It's not with what LeBron said. It's with the state of the Lakers. This is who they are. They gonna be disjointed. When you're old, to your point, that's what happens. We can't even count on LeBron. LeBron has missed 70 games, Rob, since he joined the Lakers 3+ seasons ago. Not even 3.5 seasons ago, 3+ seasons ago. He's missed 70 games. Guess how many games LeBron missed in his first 15 years in the NBA?
60.
71.
Yep.
So he's in 3.5 years, he's missed the same amount of games he missed in 15. That's age. That's not a blip. That's a trend.
Right.
Anthony Davis, you said, never played more than 75 games. It only did that twice. Missed half of last season. In the offseason, we hear, he's upset. He's going to work his tail off. He's coming back. He's going to bounce back year. And he's hurt again. Out for a month to 6 weeks, whatever it is.
One year, Chris, he wasn't hurt was when they didn't play for 4 months and they were in the bubble. That's the only year he wasn't hurt.
Very, very true. And Westbrook is just Westbrook. All right, so, and like you said, even a lot of other players are old. This is who they, like, Rob, it's hard to fathom. The Lakers having like a 2.5 month stretch before the playoffs where it's just smooth sailing, right? Everybody, and LeBron's available, AD's available, Russ, and they just cook it and everything's smooth. It's hard to see that coming when you're old. And so that's where I'm in agreement with you, is that that's the problem. The Lakers, this is going to be a mainstay for them. It's not like we're young and so just had a fluke injury. Is anybody really surprised that AD is out for a month? Come on.
No, you shouldn't be.
Right. Are you shocked that LeBron has missed like 12 games? I mean, it's age. Just is what it is. So, look, Rob, I do think, I was asked on Undisputed this morning, can you see them winning a playoff round? One round. And I said, absolutely. What they got to do is not finish in the 7th or 8th seed and play Golden State or Phoenix. And is that too much to ask? Is it too much to ask you to outplay Ja Morant and a bunch of role players? Jokic and a bunch of role players because Jamal Murray's out and, Michael Porter Jr.'s out. Too much to ask you to outplay Luka Doncic, who's hurt himself in and out, and a bunch of role players? No. I don't think you want to finish 6th either and face Utah. But, Rob, you don't tell me you don't think they could beat a Dallas, a Denver, a Memphis, a Portland, whoever they might face in the first round, the Clippers, as long as it's not Golden State or the Suns. Lakers 16-16. Is LeBron right when he says, hey, we haven't played together? We're not whole. Your thoughts?
The Lakers have more holes than a golf course. That's what I would say. Dwight in St. Louis, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up?
Hey, you know what, man? I got to get this off my chest. I tried to get in last night on Trash Talking Tuesday, but okay, now last night y'all guys led off hating LeBron. Now here y'all go again. You dudes, I don't understand you dudes.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
No,
You stop
y'all,
it! Stop it, Rob. When you call up, you can criticize me and Rob, but be accurate.
Exactly.
Rob was killing LeBron for ruining basketball in his opinion.
Not Chris.
I was not. So don't call up here lying or putting words into either one of our mouths that we didn't say. You can criticize us all you want, but be accurate.
Chris, that's why people get blocked on my Twitter. That's exactly my point. Don't put words in my mouth. Otherwise, you will get blocked.
It's my Twitter. I thought the song was coming.
What?
Alex usually don't miss that.
It's my Twitter, and I'll block if I want to. Block if I want to. Block if I want to. You would block too if they tried to diss you. All right, sorry about that.
And furthermore, was I dissing LeBron in that first take, Rob?
No.
I was saying he was right in what he said, but the problem is they old.
Yes.
So come on, man.
Marty in
Call
Kentucky,
back,
you're
but
on
be
the
accurate.
Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What up, Marty?
How's it going, fellas, man? I'm sorry about that last caller. I mean, one thing Chris is not is a LeBron hater. He gets put in that category sometimes because he won't call him the GOAT, but Chris is a big supporter of LeBron.
Yes, an athletic supporter, but that's another story.
That was actually a pretty good one, Rob.
Well, guys, I actually talked about this with LeBron on the other network just a few days ago, and I'm glad that you're talking about it. LeBron, and I try to put myself in his shoes and consider if when I turned 18 I become a multimillionaire, how much every aspect of my personality would have matured if I just could become a millionaire, 100 millionaire, then billionaire, like that.
It's something to think about. Real talk. Marty.
Yeah, I think
really,
that I don't think that certain aspects of my maturity would have developed as much as they have. And so I try to consider that. But LeBron is mature in so many ways. So he spoke up for social justice. His intelligence as a basketball player has grown through his career. In so many ways I can say that he's grown. But when it comes to excuses, I haven't seen it. And I've always said this, what's the difference between a good excuse and a bad excuse? I mean, no, what's the same? What's the similarity of a good excuse and a bad excuse? They're excuses. And, we're talking about the guy that wore the cast of the post game and at the finals, and the guy that the other day actually got AD hurt and then turned around and threw his hands up and was like, what's up? And I got into this on the other network. I got in a dispute about this. They were saying, no, the guy flopped. And I said, well, LeBron kind of pushed him with his old man strength. And they said, well, no, the guy flopped. I said, well, if these young players are flopping, why are they flopping? Because they've been watching LeBron their whole life.
For 15 years.
Yeah. So either way, he's got some responsibility there. But I don't think that leaning on anything as an excuse is a good way for a guy in a leadership role to conduct
What do you,
himself.
Marty, when he's asked that question last night, what do you think he should have said?
Anything that doesn't sound like an excuse.
No,
All right.
that's fine. Marty, we appreciate the call, man. Merry
Thanks,
Christmas
brother.
to you
Merry
and
Christmas.
the family. Yes. Hey, Drew in New Jersey. You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What up, Drew?
Hey, guys. I think it's totally fair. And as far as the social justice stuff, I totally agree, except for when it comes to Uyghur Muslims and cheap labor, and Nike kind of keeps his mouth shut with that. But that's besides the point. What I think is, the one thing, I am a huge LeBron fan, and if LeBron's a top 5 player, he does what he did in 2008 against the Magic. He puts the team on his back. Even though you lose, you make them competitive. If you have another top 5 guy or a top 10 guy, you beat Memphis. That's what you do. You don't lose by 20. You don't do that. You don't do this. You look at Paul George. Paul George does not have a single top 5 guy on his team. They're still a game up. You look at Donovan Mitchell, 3 seed. We don't say he's a top 5 guy, but he still can carry his team. That's all I'm saying.
Well, first of all, I still think LeBron is better than both those guys you mentioned, Paul George and Donovan Mitchell. But I said last night, Rob, I think LeBron is at that point now where it's kind of like when he was in his second, third years in the league. His second year, he averaged 27. Third year, averaged 30 and a bunch of rebounds and assists. So he was clearly one of the best 10 players, if not higher, at that point in his career, Rob. But he couldn't lead them to real significant winning, right? He was still learning to do that. Now he can still put up big numbers like he did back then.
He had 34
but he can't
last
really,
night,
right,
didn't he?
right. And I'm not saying they're empty calories. I'm just saying he can put up numbers, but he can't control and dominate the game like he used to. Rob, we used to see it in the playoffs in the East, right? They'd have a mediocre regular season. Then he turned it on against Toronto, turn it on against Boston, whoever. Those days, I think, are over because of his age and his tenure in the league.
Yeah,
all right.
The last thing I'm going to say is I get it, but everybody's disjointed. Their teams, Chris, there's injuries all over the place. There's COVID. So I get it. And the Lakers have been through a lot. But there were games where even last night, you didn't beat the Suns. You were 7-point underdogs. Could it be competitive? Like could it be competitive? Could it have been a game last night? That's what I'm talking about. Your guys were there. LeBron played. He scored 34 points. They weren't
well, like you
competitive.
said, I mean, you can look at Oklahoma City. But
They
lose
lost
to them
those two
twice.
games back to back.
Yeah, I mean, they've lost to some bad teams. So there are games that they could have won with just Westbrook and AD.
Right.
Or LeBron.
Or LeBron
Westbrook
and Westbrook.
whatever
Right.
it was. Right. So